everyone, hope we are doing well. Welcome to the West Ham Transfer Rumour Show. The Pink Book's ready to rock and roll. I'm ready to rock and roll, and I'm assuming you're ready to rock and roll since you've tuned into this episode. Coming up in today's video, we've got a couple of updates on old transfer rumours, some new transfer rumours, and a couple of players we've never been linked to. We've never discussed them here on Hammers Chat, and I'm looking forward to it. It's exciting, isn't it? It doesn't make the rumours true. It's just nice to have some fresh rumours for a change. Anyway, I don't make them up, I just discuss them. And before we get on to the new ones, let's talk about the old ones, starting with Areola. We've got an update on Areola. But before we do that, and I've got a theory for the update, let's do a quick backstory. 11 million, 11 million, 11 million. That's always been the rumoured release clause for West Ham United to sign Areola this summer. During the season, for large portions, it was a case of will we, won't we sign him? Probably not, probably will. It was 50-50, wasn't it? It felt like the jury was out for large parts of the season. Towards the end, the last 2 or 3 months, it was like, okay, yeah, probably will sign him. We probably will. And then, pretty much since the season finished, really, the last 2 or 3 weeks, it feels inevitable. It feels close. It feels like we will sign Areola. He will become a West Ham United player. No longer a case of if, but a case of when. And how much, because that's the latest reports. In the last 24 hours, the update is the transfer fee for Areola isn't 11 million, but 7.7 million. I mean, that's a bargain, isn't it? What an absolute bargain that would be. 7.7 million. Now, the reports are contradicting as to why it's 7.7 million. The first set, the ones I don't really listen to much, are claiming it's always been 7.7 million. It's never been 11 million. The release clause has always been 7.7. West Ham are just simply triggering it. If that was true, I feel like it would have been done by now, because it feels like we're waiting a little bit, and we know why. We're just a bit impatient as football fans, aren't we? Like, come on, I want to transfer now. But if it was 7.7, you'd imagine we'd have triggered it a month ago or something like that and started the ball rolling with the negotiations. And anyway, for those reports saying it's always been 7.7, are they insinuating the 11 million was just made up? Never. Journalists making stuff up around transfers doesn't happen, does it? But the second reports that contradict the first reports, which I believe, and my theory sort of goes in line with this, hence why I'm probably a little bit biased to believe them, is that West Ham have been negotiating with PSG and getting the price down from 11 million to 7.7 million. And here's my theory. That is to subsidise Areola's wages. I mean, you were expecting... I'm aware I built that up as if I was ready to come out with some sort of like obscure theory. It's not really. A few weeks ago we got told West Ham were keen to buy Areola, that we were happy to pay the 11 million, but there was a stumbling block, which was his wages. He's believed to be on around about 120,000 a week at PSG. He's still got a year to go on his contract as well, but PSG were keen to move him on, to sell him, to offload him, and in order to do that they were willing to subsidise his wages for his move to West Ham United. So that 3.3 million difference, I think, is probably PSG's contribution, their golden handshake, if you like, the goodwill gesture to help push through the move from Areola from PSG to West Ham United. That's my theory anyway, so we'll wait and see. I think he'll be a West Ham player. It's just a case of when and not if. Now, moving on to the other players being close to joining West Ham for the last couple of weeks as well as Areola, Nayef, Aguerd. Now, the update, it's not much really. In fact, it's around the transfer fee as well. I've still not watched him. He is, however, on international duty over the next couple of weeks with Morocco. So if you're wanting to have a little look at him, try and get one of their games in, and you might get to see him in action. I'm going to try and do my best. But the transfer fee, the new rumoured transfer fee, is 13 million, and that's from the Evening Standard, which is quite a good source when it comes to West Ham. Actually, I don't mind them as a bit of a source for West Ham news and transfers and stuff, but 13 million. And I guess the reason it's surprising is because the last couple of weeks the rumoured price tags range from 20 million to 30 million, hasn't it? It's been somewhere in there, but the new one is 13 million. Now, hypothetically, if both rumours were true, that would be just 21 million for Areola, and Aguerd would be fantastic business. And now I know what you're thinking. Hang on, mate, you don't even know this Aguerd. How can you be happy with it? And this is if, and it's a big if, going by the last couple of windows, if Aguerd is Moyes' #1 centre-back target and his goalkeeper target. If Moyes is rubber stamped these 2 deals and that's who he wants, I think 21 million for a #1 goalkeeper, because that's what Areola has to be next. It simply has to be the #1 keeper next year. But 21 million for him, and Aguerd, who you imagine Moyes would be eyeing up to be first choice centre-back alongside Kurt Zouma. 21 million for 2 players in the first 11 at West Ham. Oh, I say West Ham in the Premier League. That's cheap. That's good going. That is good business. Like I said, big if David Moyes has chosen them and they're not getting forced upon him. 21 million, I think, is really good business for West Ham. Actually, 2 places, 2 sort of squad members brought in for 21 million. I guess the Areola thing's a little bit different, isn't it? Because you're essentially spending 7.7 million to stand still. Our goalkeeper position doesn't necessarily get stronger in terms of ability than this season. We're paying 7.7 million to keep the same goalkeepers, so that's expensive. But you know what I mean. 21 million, 2 players in the starting 11. Good business. Now, before we move on to the rest of them, a couple of weeks ago, Manscape sent me these. Now, this video is sponsored by Manscape. They sent me some new boxers. They said, "Oh, Gio, we've got a new boxer range out. Boxer 2.0 range is coming out. We've got some new designs. We're going to send you a pair. We're going to send Gonzo a pair." Now, you've already seen Gonzo's. He's been flaunting them on the videos. Now, I'm going to flaunt mine. I'm going to have a little open them up, have a little look. And I'm not going to try them on because that would just be a bit awkward, wouldn't it? I'll probably get the channel banned from YouTube. But I'll wear them in the next video, because what you don't know, I often just sit in my boxers to record videos, so I'll do that in the next one. I'll just be wearing whatever in this box. On the side of the box, it's got some plus points to the pants, if you like. It says, "Our jewel pouch is designed to pamper your boys in their own special place." There we go. So they said, would you review the pants? And just remind your viewers, you get 20% off everything on our website when you use the code HammersChat, plus free shipping. Oh, have a look at these. These, like, look at them. This is some serious. What's that? It's testicles with sunglasses. I've got like gangster bollocks. I'll be wearing these tomorrow. Look at them bad boys. So there you go. You want a little bit of that? You know where to go. Go to the Manscape website. We've got Father's Day coming up as well. So if you want to get your old man, I mean, you probably won't want to get him shades on testicles on boxers for Father's Day, but you might. But they also do cologne, they do the weed whacker, which does your hooter as well as your nose. And if you go on over there, the link's in the description, use the code HammersChat, all one word, you get 20% off everything on their website, plus free shipping worldwide. And in the next video, I'll let you know if my gangster pants are comfy or not. I'll let you know how these this jewel pouch holds up. So thank you very much, Manscaped, for my boxers. Now, anyway, from bollocks on the boxers to bollocks on the transfer rumours, Moussa Diaby. Now, we all know who this player is. Bayern Leverkusen, he's been sort of hyped up as one of these wonder kids, if you like. We're not far off it for a few years now. But he's had a really good season over in the Bundesliga. He's hit double figures for goals and assists, which is big. There's not that many people do, actually. It doesn't sound that impressive, does it? Double figures for goals and assists. But it is. You know, Jared Bowen done it for us as well. Mason Mount's done it for Chelsea. But not too many players do both. Some may have a good goal scoring season. Zaha, 14 goals in the Premier League for Crystal Palace, 1 assist. But then you get players on the other side of it. Harvey Barnes got 10 assists for Leicester City. Don't know how much goals he got, but it's not 10. But anyway, Moussa Diaby, Bayern Leverkusen, left winger, really fast, French. 60 million. I mean, it's just not happening, is it? We're not spending 60 million on a left winger. I wouldn't be against it. I think he's a fantastic player, and a left wing is a position we could do with upgrading, certainly, at this squad. But I just don't believe this rumour at all. I would like to, but I don't. And I'd quite like to believe the next rumour, actually, because, well, I'll get on to it. Amadou Onana. Now, a lot of you will have heard of him. You'll go, wow, this guy's a wonder kid. This guy's a superstar in the making. Plays for Lille, 20 years of age, 6'6". He's a big boy, isn't he? Energetic centre midfielder. Now, I don't watch French football. It's not that I don't like French football. I just don't have time to watch French football. I like my Premier League. I like a bit of the Championship. I like a little bit of the Scottish Premiership. I like a little bit of the Bundesliga. So when it comes to French football and Spanish football, I don't have time. If I've got any more time, which is unlikely, I'll maybe watch a little bit of the Serie A. Well, that's as far as I go. However, so my rule of thumb, right, this is my Geo rule of thumb. If there's a player we're linked to in the French league that doesn't play for PSG, that doesn't count, that I've heard of, you know, he's got a big reputation. Even I've heard of Amadou Onana. Now, if you know a bit more about him, please can you put it in the comments below, because I'm genuinely intrigued to hear what people think about him that have seen him quite a bit more. I don't necessarily believe the transfer rumour, but it's one of those players with a decent reputation, I think, that would be quite exciting to be linked with. 20-year-old centre midfielder, Belgium under-21 captain as well. So he's got a decent pedigree. You know, he's in Leo's first team at the age of 20 in centre midfield. That's got to count for something. So yeah, I'm interested to hear what people think about him. That Onana. Now, slight confession: when I played FIFA, about Christmas. It wasn't Christmas time. It was during an international break a few months ago. I had a game of the old FIFA. I signed him. I just did a player search thing. You know, I had a look around, and he was quite highly rated on FIFA. And I bought him. He was pretty good. Now, I'm not judging him off that, I promise you. But his statistics over on Who Scored, I had a little look earlier. They're quite impressive, actually. Defensive attributes of a defensive midfielder. Good tackles, good interceptions. His pass is pretty good as well, looking at it from a data point of view. So I'm intrigued to hear what people think from watching Onana as well. Anyway, who else have we got here? We've got Mohamed Bayo. We were linked to him quite a while ago, weren't we? January transfer window, 8.5 million. Clermont striker, French league, not seen him play. You'd be surprised to know. But he's done quite well this season, actually. The season before the one just finished, they got promoted. He scored big goals in the second division in France. I think it was 24 goals in the season or something. And I always get wary of stats like that. I think, okay, you've done in the second division, but can you do it in the top division in France? Can you do it? And the answer is yes. 14 and 32 for them this season. They survived. They stayed up. I say just one place above the relegation zone, but 4 points clear. So he's had a really good season. Obviously, he had the African nations in there as well, so he missed part of the season for his club, but still 14 goals in there. So we're linked to him again. 8.5 million seems quite a low fee. He's fast. I remember that about him, but that's about it really. Anyway, we've got a player that we're going to sign, but then I'm going to discuss Jesse Lingard, but I've left Lingard at the end for those that don't want to listen about Jesse Lingard. I get it. But the player we are going to sign is Patrick Kelly, a Northern Irish attacking midfielder. This has been revealed by Express Employee. The reason I say that is because I know not everybody's keen on Express Employee. I get it. I actually do get it. But you guys know I am. And it's almost to try and validate his information, I think. That I'm doing this. So if we do sign him, well, he's the only one that said that we're going to sign him, because we signed the player last summer that from over there that came true. So anyway, Patrick Kelly, an attacking midfielder. Is it Coleraine? That club. He's signing from them as well. But that's all I know about him really. So it'll be a signing for the under 23s, to be clear. It's not somebody that we'll see in the first team. And I quite like us bringing in players that's going to go in the under 23s and hopefully step up into the first team. I don't mind us spending money on there. I quite like it, because I always think if it doesn't work out and if they're at a reasonable standard, you're able to recoup most of your fees in there. And you only need one. You only need one player to work. You have a look at Declan Rice, Ben Johnson, they've come through. If we were to sell them both today, we'd get 150 million combined for the two of them. I mean, that pays for the academy for years, doesn't it? So you only need one player now and again to work, and if they do, you save millions in the transfer market. If Hudson Ashby makes it at West Ham, sorted. When it comes to replacing Soufal, instead of spending 10, 15, 20 million, we don't need to. He's out the academy. It's a free transfer. Happy days. Now, before I get on to Lingard, you've enjoyed this video, do drop a like on it. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. You don't want to hear about Lingard, now's the time to depart the video. But if you don't mind hearing my thoughts on the Lingard thing, stick around. So, towards the end of last week, it came out Lingard was requesting £180,000 a week to join West Ham. Since it's been clarified that it was almost like everything lumped in and then divided up over his contract, it comes to £180,000 a week. So that's taken into consideration his sign-on fee, his goal-scoring bonus, his basic wage, everything in, and then divided. So I think it's a bit misleading. say 180,000 a week, and I think it's a bit unfair as well, because as a free transfer, bear in mind he's 29 years old, and as I've said before, he's never had a permanent transfer. He's had a couple of loan moves, but that's it. And a lot of players make a lot of money when they move from club to club because of their signing on fee. If we go and sign Areola, I wouldn't be surprised we're looking at a 7-digit signing on fee for him. They are usually quite generous. And Jesse Lingard's never benefited from that. And I know what you're thinking. It's not like he's been on very little wages at Man U. I don't even think he's on 100,000 a week at Man United. So he's rich, okay? There's no doubt about it. He is rich. But what I'm badly trying to say is he's never had this permanent transfer where he gets a large sum of cash in one go into his bank account. He just hasn't had it. So I don't blame him for trying to maximise this move. It's his last big contract at 29 years old. He has to sort of set himself up for life, I guess. But when I'm saying all that, I'm not suggesting we give him a 10 million sign-on fee of that, but it will certainly be a few million. And I think when you add in 100,000 a week or something wages and divide it up, it probably looks quite big. And I think it's quite misleading and unfair. I still hope we sign Lingard. I do. I think it goes back to the Areola and Aguerd thing. If we were able to get them to Jesse Lingard for a fee of 25 million, obviously I'm adding in Lingard's sign-on fee here, that's good business. That would be 3 players arguably start for us on match day 1 of the Premier League for 25 million. I think that's cheap. I'm not giving up on the Jesse Lingard thing. I hope to see him at West Ham. I think we are the right club for him, and I think he's the right player for our manager. And I think that's important, that the players that we bring in this window are rubber stamped by David Moyes, not identified by David Moyes. I think that's unrealistic. Not even scouted by David Moyes. I think that's not as difficult to do, but still quite difficult. But rubber stamp, the David Moyes seal of approval needs to be on any transfer that we do this window, because there's also been doubts over everybody that we've brought in, whether Moyes wanted them or not. Clearly, Vlasic and Alex Crowell were 2 players that, well, at best, and I mean at best, jury's out as to whether David Moyes ever wanted them. But you would imagine Moyes wasn't too keen on them, and we took him in anyway, just forced them on the manager. It's not good business, so we need to bring in players that the manager wants at West Ham next season. Jesse Lingard is one of those players. It would almost justify, maybe not, but it would almost justify Moyes to some extent chasing Lingard for the last year, even though he wasn't going to get him. Now we have to. We've got a clean run at him. Fine, it's going to be expensive, but last season it would have been worth it. It would have paid itself. He would have been the difference between 2 or 3 places and an upgrade in European competition for West Ham United. So hopefully we'll see Lingard, hopefully we'll see Areola, and hopefully we'll see Aguerd as well, providing he's David Moyes' pick. But there you go, that's it for this West Ham Transfer Rumours show. Coming up this week, I'm going to have my first episode of a mini-series I'm going to do over the summer, where I just go through every position and pick out 3 or 4 players I like for each position, the Geo wish list. Then the final video, if you like, will be my completed wish list. It's a little bit Football Manager and FIFA. It's not realistic. It's never going to happen. It's just a bit of fun. That's all it is. And hopefully to spark a little bit of debate in the comments over what everybody would like to see at West Ham United. Anyway, I'm going to shut up. I'm going to disappear. If you stuck around for the Lingard bit, clearly you have. Thank you. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you're around here. Catch you in a bit.